Reggie Me issue 54, Gay Blades. I'm glad I decided to read all of Reggie Me because I never knew there was a Sabrina story there. At first I thought she was just an exciting cameo in a typical Reggie story. Archie's clumsy and Reggie's a mean show-off as usual who makes Veronica happy with his affection. And it's clear that Archie's clumsiness is a good thing because it gives Betty an excuse to hold him. And her saying she's enjoying this explains why Sabrina's spell isn't to make Archie not be clumsy anymore. It's already clear why she didn't already do that. It's because clumsiness keeps him humble. Archie thanks Betty for the help and for some reason calls his ankles weak, and Reggie plans on jumping over barrels to add insult to injury. Sabrina's pity for Archie and irritation with Reggie makes her put an invisible force field up for him to crash into. I guess she only looked the moment it happened, because there'd really be no point in the spell if she looked away when he hit it. Also, she never undoes the force field in this story. I have to assume she did at some point off screen, because witches want to hide witches. But even if she didn't, Dell the head witch would only be happy with her because running into it would cause people to get embarrassed, and anyone who witnesses such a thing would think they were going crazy, not realize magic exists. For some reason, the mortals who saw Reggie crash into an invisible wall didn't say they were going crazy or ate something to hallucinate. It's almost like they know Sabrina's a witch in the story, and are just smart enough to know they can't ask her for favors or even hint at them to her. Reggie shows off, and Sabrina rips his pants. And thankfully, she thinks she'll hate herself for this in the morning, which reminds us that she's still a good person. Like I already could tell by her staring concerned at her friends for most of the start of the story. While the later Sabrina would only be concerned about herself and Harvey. Sabrina makes Reggie drill a hole in the ice and fall in. She can rescue and heal him with magic, so it makes some sense that she's smiling. But that was still too dark. I loved this story. It was exciting and fun because Reggie got to suffer. Normally I wouldn't be impressed at seeing yet another story where Sabrina abuses her magic on someone because that's not supposed to be the appeal of the series. But it works because it's Reggie, and I miss real Sabrina so much. There's also a story in Archie issue 160 where Archie reads out a spell from a magic book that would only have magic because the witch that had it forgot to cleanse it of residual magic from her. He reads out the spells for fun and causes Moose and Reggie to get hurt a bunch. The spell has to be a curse, because otherwise it wouldn't make it possible for him to use super strength against his enemies by accident. It is a pretty pathetic excuse for a curse though, because at first, it would be beneficial to your enemy. The only reason Reggie finds out about what's going on is because somehow Archie thinks an omniscience curse is funny enough to read out loud just because it's after the other spells he read out. It's kind of weird that it ends there. Not only is the story not opposed to showing violence, but it ends with Reggie knowing about magic, and Archie and Jughead are going to find out. This would lead to Reggie checking out the book, and the only reason he'd lose it is if Archie destroyed it by accident because of how clumsy he is. Which would be inevitable. It's no wonder they weren't freaking out about Reggie smacking into an invisible wall. They already knew about magic. Maybe they're just too dumb to piece it together that Sabrina's the reason it happens. Because crazy stuff happens around them without her being there.